Hey, Mindset fam, it's your girls here back for another fantastic episode. And I know you guys are really going to like this one because I feel like it's one of our most popular topics. So,
That's a fact.
yes.
Yes.
Oh gosh,
Here we go. Being the same person, I know. But we should definitely kick this episode off. Just picking up a little bit from our last episode. Because you definitely sent over quite an interesting video, which I'm sure is quite controversial as well.
Yeah.
So do you want to give a little background on that video?
Yeah, so pretty much this is a viral video, I guess, of an interaction between an Uber Eats driver, I guess you can call it.
Delivery driver of some sort, right?
Yeah. And the person who like made the order, and the driver is refusing to give them what they ordered because they refused to tip her. And they kind of just like started like going back and forth with each other and saying like, how do I know you're going to return it to the store? Like, you can't just like take my food, that's stealing. And she was like, well, you need to tip me because, I don't know how it works. I guess that they just, I don't know, pick up all the food and put it in their trunk and then have to like deliver it to their door. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear like what your thoughts are on this because, in our last episode, tipping culture, we talked a lot about kind of like tipping and things like that. And I think that this was very relevant to that conversation and how
Very much so.
now this is going viral about someone who was refusing to tip and then someone who was refusing to provide the service because they weren't getting tipped.
No, you don't deserve a tip. You certainly don't.
Why do I not?
You're crushing the ramen noodles for one.
Not crushing anything. The ramen noodles are perfectly fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, they're not.
They're perfectly
I just saw
fine.
you crush them for
They're
one.
not crushed. And why does it matter anyways? I'm
You're
taking
not
it back to
good
the
at
store.
your
They're
job,
not for
so
you
why would you
anymore.
get a tip?
They're not for you anymore. I just told you why I should get a tip. I had to pack all of this in my car and bring it to you guys and unpack it. You did not pay me. You paid the You paid the
I paid
delivery
for this
app.
food, okay?
You paid the delivery app. You did not pay me.
Do
Do you not understand that? No, I'm taking all of this back.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No,
you guys can get your refunds, and another delivery driver can deal with you guys. I'm not going to deal with
No,
it
you're
anymore.
stealing.
No, I'm not
You
stealing
are
it. I'm
stealing
taking
for
it back.
How do
to
we
the
know
store.
you're going to
I'm
take it back
taking
to the
back
store? How do we know you're going to take it back to the store, though?
You'll get a receipt. Trust me.
No,
You'll get your
I
receipt.
won't,
Yeah,
okay?
you will. I'm gonna
I
go
just
take
wanna
it back
You
to the
do.
store.
I just don't.
I don't
You can
need
get
it. I
fired
don't need all
over
this
this.
You're
stuff,
gonna get
so I don't
fired.
have a reason to have it.
This
So I'm
is
gonna take it
over
back to the store.
$400
I don't
that
care
you're
how much it
stealing.
was.
You're stealing.
I know, I'm not
over
stealing it. I'm taking it back to
$400.
the store.
No,
What
you
don't
are.
understand?
You are. You're gonna go
Clearly,
to jail.
you're not understanding because I'm telling you right now, it's going back to the store. You guys can get your money back, and you can hire another driver.
You can't just take things.
Go ahead and
that
drive
don't belong
another
to you.
driver.
No, you can't take.
Go
things.
ahead and get another driver to.
You
Yeah. Yeah, it's so hard to feel one-sided in this situation, to be honest, because I feel like I can understand both sides, but I don't find either side to be right in how they were going about the situation.
Interesting. Well, yeah, that definitely.
And I say that because as the delivery driver, I completely understood where she was coming from. Like, I put in all the effort to get you your order to put your order together. I shopped for it. I, either scanned it or loaded it onto the conveyor belt for someone else to scan it. It was bagged, it was put into the vehicle, it was transported to you, and now it's being unloaded to you. So, yeah, I can definitely understand why she felt some type of way.
I guess I don't really understand. Just to cut you off, like I don't understand like how that stuff works because like to me, I'm assuming it's kind of like, the people in like Stop and Shop will like bag everything together and they'll have it like waiting, and then your Uber driver or whoever comes to pick it up. So all they're doing is like picking up bags. They're not in the stores like picking out all of your produce and stuff.
It goes two different ways.
Oh,
it goes both ways. So for her kind of service, what she was doing, she was the one doing everything.
Gotcha.
So like for like the Stop and Shop kind of orders, as an example, most of the time, if you're doing the full service through Stop and Shop, then that's all through Stop and Shop employees. So it's totally not totally different, but it has its differences.
Okay.
But when you're doing just like say like Instacart, Those are people who are actually getting the orders themselves. They're actually grabbing each item individually, because they will also like send you a message, say if something's out of stock and you want a substitution,
Mhm.
they will message you or call you, whatever the case is. They
Mm.
usually message you and say, such and such is out of stock, here's an alternative, or, like they communicate with you on those things.
Oh,
So they
okay.
do a little bit more, than just like grab and go.
Gotcha. It's not
So
like a takeout order.
right, exactly,
Okay.
exactly. If you do like a Stop and Shop pickup, that's more like a takeout order. They go and grab it for you, set it aside, and bring it out to you
Gotcha.
in that sense.
Okay.
So what this young lady seemed to have been doing was a bit more, like a legit, like she was grocery shopping.
Mhm.
So I can understand her being upset because, she did quite a bit of a service. However, where I disagree with her is feeling obligated to getting a tip.
Yeah.
Just because someone had a $400 order, which, I know a few people who used to do Instacart orders.
Oh.
So I know a lot of people seek those large orders because you automatically, or some automatically think, because of it being a big grocery order, they got some money to send a good tip too.
Mm.
So, she probably had that expectation. And, maybe she's living beyond her means. It looked like she had a Tesla in the vehicle, like those aren't cheap vehicles. And,
Mhm.
so her expecting to get a tip was a little asinine to me, because a tip is not required.
Right.
It's it's showing your gratitude, which that is offensive for someone to not show their gratitude.
Yeah.
But to go ahead and deny giving them their groceries because you didn't get a tip and you're going to bring it back to the store, you're now wasting more of your own money.
Right.
You're so concerned about getting this tip, now you're burning more of your own money. And she did explain it in the video that money goes towards the service and goes towards whatever else. She doesn't actually, she gets paid from the service,
Mhm.
but usually they're not paid a lot.
Right.
Just kind of like how we spoke about before in the restaurant type of industry, where they're not really, they're paid more so like minimum wage.
Mhm.
So yeah, I get her being upset, but to go about all that, I don't think was necessary. But I'm glad she also conducted herself in an appropriate manner. She wasn't
Yeah.
aggressive. She, like she wasn't
Mhm.
doing the most. And ugh, I hate when people do that because that's just so unnecessary.
Right.
But she asked for what she asked for what she felt like she deserved, which I think is okay to do. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Mm.
But there's no obligation.
And I think that right there is key, right? Because like I completely agree with everything that you've been saying. Like,
Hmm.
you're certainly you have the right to feel the way you do and like even express yourself and say, hello, like, hey, am I getting a tip for this and whatever.
Little something, something on top.
But to refuse to give the person what they had ordered and like the whole purpose of you being there in the first place, like
Right.
is definitely insane to me. And I don't think that you should feel obligated to get these things because tips are like, what is the word I'm looking for? Tip.
Gratitude.
I mean, yes, but they're just kind of like, they're,
A kind gesture.
yeah, right. Like it's not something that's just kind of like, um, not that it's not common. Wow, I'm like completely blanking right now. I'm so tired. God damn it. I guess I'm just trying to say like a tip is not something that should be like expected all the time.
Hmm.
Like just because you're
Right.
doing something doesn't just mean you're going to get tipped every single time, right? Like for
Right.
example, like years ago I used to be a dog walker and it was great when I got tips, right? Like that was
Hmm.
awesome, but like you're also not obligated to receive a tip. So it's kind of
No.
like, it just is what it is, right? Like you're in this business because you need the money or you should maybe enjoy like what you're doing or whatever, but like it's not
Ideally.
for the tips.
Right. Yeah, we try to say that, but like nowadays everything's about the money. Like that's just what it is.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the way some people are with tips, it's like it's kind of like kids in sports, like everybody's a winner. No, everybody's not a winner. Like you earn
Oh
your
my
shit.
god,
So
yeah.
like, you either get it or you don't get it. And just because you may not get it this time doesn't mean that you just, throw the shit to the wind and just be done with it. Like,
Mhm.
no, you
Exactly. Follow through with your
Get on
job.
up. Right. Like now you're one being recorded. So, you know, in the video with the what was that Jason Lee and whoever else he had with him,
Yeah.
they're like, the recorder was getting quite Karen-ish or whatever. So it's just like you don't know where that video is gonna go. Now
Hmm.
you're possibly affecting your job, and it's just like you wanted that tip so bad. Now you're about to not even have your minimum wage pay, and it's just like,
Right.
God damn,
Yeah.
over this one customer.
Not
Like,
worth it.
okay, put up your plea for your tip. They say no. Okay, I'm not going to continue to go back and forth with you. Take your damn groceries and bet I'm going to remember this address. I'm going to remember this account, and I'm just not going to do you any service anymore.
Right. Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
if only it could be that simple. But you know, how do you feel about how the customer was though, with kind of not giving a tip?
I mean, I think it's their right to not give a tip. Like
Hmm.
for me, like if I have enough money to place a $400 grocery order,
Hmm.
like yeah, I can see the perspective of like, okay, well, that means like you should have money to like give a good tip. But then it's kind of like, well, what if I used all my $400 to get these groceries and like I don't have any money to give a tip?
Right.
So it's
Right.
like I don't know. To me, you can just never like expect things because like nothing is
Hmm.
guaranteed. And
No.
I don't think there's anything wrong with them kind of like refusing to tip necessarily. Because at the end of the day, like, yes, I appreciate you doing my work for me because like I couldn't go to
Hmm.
the store or didn't want to or whatever the case might be, but it's also kind of like you did your job.
Yeah, that's
Still do.
true. That's true. Yeah. I feel like the customer went back and forth, in my opinion, too long. Because if the driver is now, for one, knowing that this is recorded,
Right.
if the driver is now telling me they're just going to bring this up back to the store, go ahead, bring it back to the store. F it then. Like, if that's what you're going to do, because it's like if they're that adamant on not giving a tip, then if she says she's going to bring it back to the store, one, you have all the information from your order on who's pulling your order, so you can easily screenshot all of that information.
Hmm.
You have her face, you have a recording, like you have all of the information you need. So if you need to get in touch with the corporation, I'm sure they're going to take care of it.
Yeah, I mean maybe, but at the same time, like, what if I needed something really bad in that order? Like, you better give me my shit. Like,
You should have went to the store and get it your damn self.
listen, that's why they have these services. Maybe I'm handicapped or something. You don't know. Leave me alone.
Right. No, and I get it, but like, and it's crazy, but like we can clearly see where the divide is and why there can be such a debate on this culture,
Right.
because it's just like nowadays everything is about a service. Like uh you're freeing up your own time, just like this in the video. It's just so true, because it's like I've had this conversation around the house here before too.
Mm,
You're freeing up your time by having someone else do a service for you,
mhm.
and it's like, again, just showing your gratitude for them doing that service, because now that has just opened up so much more time for yourself.
Right.
And that could have been their own gas that they spent, that could have been their own XYZ. They only paid for groceries and probably like a $3 delivery fee, maybe.
Yeah. That's
So it's just like, and again, people can do what they want to do. I'm not judging people on what they do, because I'm not going to say I tip people every time. But if I get a delivery service, like we mentioned before in the episode,
mhm.
I'm usually going to give you a tip because of the delivery. Now, your tip amount may range, but
Yeah.
you won't get something.
Right.
So, but yeah, I just think as the customer, myself personally, I wouldn't have engaged as long as they did, because it's like, okay, well, you're just wasting time. And you know what? I'll be glad for you to go ahead and burn up your goddamn gas or whatever, your electricity in your vehicle, so you can go ahead and drive on back to the store and give them all the stuff back,
Yeah.
and really now get nothing from it, because now my order is going to be considered as canceled. Because are you still going to get paid for this order now that you're bringing it back to the store?
Girl, yeah, I don't know how all that
You know
shit
what I
works.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's like me, I
Mm.
I would I would get to that level of like, go ahead, bring it back. That's fine.
You would. I wouldn't. I'm gonna fight for my shit. You're right here in front of me and you have my bags. I will take them out of your
Yeah.
car for you, please and thank you.
I was like, yep, you know what? But to each their own. That's what it is. But yeah, very interesting video, and the timing was just quite uncanny. Would have been a little more convenient if we seen it like, when we recorded, but
It would, but you know what? It's interesting to know that it definitely is a topic of conversation, and so
still a topic. Yeah.
we certainly continue to get your guys' thoughts and opinions because it is a really good debatable topic. I think like Amanda
Especially
kind of
nowadays.
explained, it can truly go either way. So I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
curious to see like where people are kind of like leaning on this scale of tipping
Mm-hmm.
versus not tipping. So
I feel like that gray area is real heavy.
yeah, definitely. Definitely.
No, but now let's just talk about some shit because y'all. You already know we've been watching the Married at First Sight. So I know we said it would take some time, but your girls have finished. Probably thought it might take us a little bit longer than it did, but we went ahead and made this a mission unintentionally too. We finished around the same time. So,
Yeah, that's true. And
um,
considering how fucking long these damn episodes are, but
child, this season was not my most thrilling season. I'm just gonna say that.
yeah, definitely not. No. I guess we
Mm-mm.
can leave it there. I don't know.
Listen, yeah, that's fine. Tell me what you're thinking and what you got to say.
Oh, well, there's a lot to say, right? But no,
Yes,
I completely
yes.
agree. I think overall, when speaking about like the season, it definitely was one of the more like there was like things that happened, like it was eventful, but like also very uneventful at the same time compared to like maybe some like other things. But one thing that I will
Atlanta.
say, yes. But one thing that I definitely will say though is that I feel like this is the season where everyone truly tried. Like I feel like a lot of people were trying to like make it work compared
Okay.
to other ones where like a lot of people just kind of like gave up.
Mm-hmm.
But I hear majority of them I feel like really like put in the effort in their own ways and like truly tried.
That's a really valid point. I didn't think about it like when watching it, I
Mhm.
realized it, but just reflecting on the season overall, I really didn't think about it. But yeah, there was a lot of true effort being put
Yeah,
in, and a little when we get to talking about them, there was a few that question their efforts being genuine. But
right.
yeah, kind of a dry season though. I ain't going front. Like it was like,
Yeah.
okay, like this is cool, but if we could just hurry up and get to the reunion.
All right. Yeah, I was kind of waiting for that same thing too.
Seriously.
um
I would say the
the
least effort. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh no, go the
The least amount of effort in a couple, I was gonna say, is Morgan and Ben.
oh yes, but before we get on there,
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to make one other observation, and I'm kind of curious if your mind had ever like gone to this as well. But for me, I think maybe just because like my own personal situation, it is something that I think about like I don't know, maybe like subconsciously or whatever.
Okay.
But it kind of just really made me wonder like if this is like intentional or not. But did you ever notice, at least from what I recall, there are no like true interracial couples on Married at First Sight?
Um,
Because even the one you just mentioned, Ben and Morgan, like they still came from a similar descent.
yeah. There I thought there was oh my gosh, I can't think of her name, but she was with Ryan and he was like, "Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure." He always said, "Yeah, for sure." It was a couple seasons ago. She was
Oh,
white. I
but
want to
what
say her
was
name.
he?
He was um he was like black or like black and Spanish. Ryan
Oh,
and
the girl. She was like Spanish or something though. I think they were both
no,
Spanish, weren't they?
she was white. No,
Was she
homegirl was
white?
white. Yeah.
Talking about the pretty princess who loved her dresses and whatever. I don't remember what her
And
name was.
I don't know who that was, but I'm mad I can't think of her name. I wanna call her like Carol Ann or Carol Lee, but I know that's not her name.
Mm-mm.
But his name was
The
Ryan.
dude with the
I'll
lisp kind of had like a lisp. No.
I don't think he had a list, but he said yeah for sure all the time. Like all the time.
Mm.
I'm gonna look it up and I'll tell you in just a moment.
Oh,
But
okay.
they were like the only interracial couple. But for the majority, like you said, they're usually the same or similar race.
Yeah. And so
Mm-hmm.
I personally thought that that was really interesting. Obviously there's nothing wrong either way, but just something that like I was kind of thinking about. And you had actually sent me the like questionnaire that people fill out when they apply to be on this show, and I was like skimming through a few different things, and it actually
Mm-hmm.
touched upon this exact topic. So they actually do ask, like, how important is it for you to be matched with someone from the same race or ethnicity as you?
Mm-hmm.
And then they ask, what ethnicities are you comfortable being matched with? And then there's,
Mm.
do you have any deal breakers with regard to race, ethnicity, culture, or country of origin? So I find that that's very interesting that they ask those kind of like specific questions.
Yes.
Um, because then I'm like, does everyone always just kind of say like within their own race? Because I feel like everyone is
Right.
always the same.
Always the same. Technically, I'm technically, what's his name? Vinny and what's her name? Brittany? Vinny was Spanish, Brittany was black. They technically interracial.
I don't remember
Because
who they are, but I'll take your word for it.
um no, her name was Brianna. This black chick, Brianna and Vinny. Vinny was the Spanish dude. They were on the same season
Oh,
as
wait, I think I
Ryan and
remember
Clara. Her name was Clara. And
Clara.
I think she was a flight attendant. I'm gonna send over a picture to so you can see. But
Okay. Well,
yeah,
and I'll post them in the video for you guys that are watching.
yes, yeah. So that season actually had two interracial couples. So Ryan and Clara, and then Vinny and Brianna.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yep.
there you go. I have
Okay.
been corrected.
But it's not common though. It's not common. So
No, but I thought it was interesting that they do actually ask that. And then if there's any deal breakers with regard to race and stuff like that, that's also kind of like,
hmm.
what are some people writing on there?
Right. And then also too, it's funny like seeing some of the things that they put on there and then seeing who's matched together. And it's like
Yeah.
they have to create drama because what's a TV series without drama? So it's
Right.
like we have to intentionally put someone on there with something that the other person is not going to vibe with at all,
Exactly.
you know?
My boyfriend actually made a comment like that. He said something about like you can see as the seasons go on that it's starting to become a little more like TV-ish than it is so much like
Yes.
finding actual love, which is disappointing. But
Disappointing. Exactly. Exactly. I agree with you 1,000% because it's like, yes, we like the drama, but can we like also see the happiness with the
right.
drama, you
Yeah.
know? Like the ultimate goal?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. But all right, I guess it should be enough of kind of like our overall observations of the show in general, so that way we can really get into like the nitty gritty. Because I know Amanda
Nitty-gritty.
is dying to talk about Ben and Morgan.
Girl, listen, I just send
I
over
can
those
just
pictures to
tell.
you, by the way.
Okay.
But listen, so Ben and Morgan, I just want to say neither of them needed to be on the show for one. Like, I don't
Agreed.
think either of them needed to be on the show.
Mm,
I felt really like my heart really went to Ben though.
yeah.
And I just say that because he has a lot of healing to go through. Um, and it just hurt. It really hurt to watch him because from the beginning, I said, Ben is like, he makes me think of like a little boy.
Hmm.
Like he has like such a childish tone to him, you know,
Hmm.
like I couldn't explain, like he's very boyish and I couldn't explain what it was. And then as the season went on and to learn just how his family treated him and all, you know, everything he was harboring,
Hmm.
it's like, oh, no wonder he's so much like a little boy in a sense. And like I mean that in the least disrespectful way.
Yeah.
But it was just like, oh, it makes so much sense. Like he's going through a lot of stuff. And I couldn't imagine how hard it is to have, you know, your family's culture, but you're in a country with a totally different mix of cultures and you have this standard to live by. But I just didn't understand him being on the show with, I feel like, so much of a strong, like so many strong traditions that his family holds. Like I felt like
Hmm.
him going on the show was like quite an opposition.
I don't feel, because there was another couple, Bao and someone,
Johnny.
who also had very strong
Traditional backgrounds, yeah. Asian
yeah,
culture.
right? Because like you saw how they like had like their little ceremony thing after the wedding and stuff like that. So I don't know if it was necessarily that. I think that he was just a flower that was not able to bloom.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Okay. Okay,
Personally,
poetry.
because now I'm gonna like flip the tune here and just say that bitch Morgan.
She's
That's all you need to say.
I don't even want to call her that because she needs healing as well.
Oh, definitely.
You know, she says she's gone through the therapy and healed from X, Y, and Z, but it's like, no, honey, your work is not done
Mm-mm.
because why are you treating this man like that?
It was
If
awful.
like and I get it, like being offended by, you know, your job title or whatever being incorrectly stated. Like I get it, but at the same time
Mhm.
the man is just learning you. Like you
Right.
guys are in this weird ass experience
Mhm.
that not everybody, not most people even go through. And it's like, okay, cut him a little slack. And then it's like, okay, yep, he went and talked to Justin. Okay, I get it. Like, we get it. He pissed you off and did stuff that you didn't want him to do. Do you think you're going to have a husband that's just going to do everything you like for the rest of your fucking life?
Right.
Because where they do that at?
Girl, I don't know, but is it just me, or do you not think that like he did anything wrong? Because I truly don't think that he did. And I think it's like wild to me that like she was so pissed off and so hell-bent on the fact that like he broke her trust and this and that, like he
Hmm.
fucking cheated on her with her sister or something. I don't know.
Right.
The whole thing was just like very wild and intense, and it's just kind of like, why are you here? Because you
Hmm.
clearly don't want to be married.
Right. And it's funny because she really was giving him like the whole roommate vibe. Like it was just really like like there was nothing that was like romantic or marriage like in the works. It was just like straight like, this is my roomie. Yeah, we both work out. Like, yeah, we here to have a good time. Um he was wrong for talking to Justin. That's just my opinion because it's like if I tell you like I don't want you talking to people about my business, like and I'm someone who off rip, I don't start people off with trust. You have to earn it. I'm not gonna just off rip give people my trust,
Mm.
and that's just how I am. You have to earn it because I just don't trust nobody, and I don't care who you are. Like you gonna start at zero, and you gonna work your way up, and if you don't, you don't. So I could understand her in that sense, where it's like if I clearly communicated to you that like don't talk to other people about my shit, like simple as that. It really shouldn't be any more deep than that, but it's hard because things are edited a certain way, and I don't know the severity of what he discussed with Justin anyways,
Mm-mm.
but I think personally she was just mad that it was Justin and Alexis, and I find them to not be trustworthy. So like he went to the wrong person or people with his business.
Gotcha. I mean, maybe. And like, I understand if he was talking about like Morgan and like her like personal stuff, like in a way, I guess. But
Hmm.
from what I understood was that he was just more kind of like venting about whatever problems that they were having, which I mean, yes, I
Hmm.
guess can kind of stem from her personal business if it was really about this like nursing stuff. But it's just
Yeah.
kind of like, in what world are you going to tell me that I can't talk to my friend about something that's like bothering me? Like
Hmm.
if my man ever told me I couldn't talk to you about something, like
That's not even an
that's,
option.
like, weird,
Excuse me.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's, like, the audacity of you to, like, sit here and try to control, like, who I can and can't talk to and, like, vent to
Hmm.
is out of this world, because it's, like, he's the if he's, like, one of the other guys, like, I clicked with, and no one else is going through this like weird experience that like we're going through, and like I need to
Who
talk
am
to
I?
someone about it, and like yeah, you should talk to her about it, but at the same time like there's plenty
It's
of
true.
things that like we need to talk to like our significant others about, but we might vent to our friends first, or
Hmm.
whatever, like that's just
Right.
kind of
Make sure
like
we're not crazy.
human nature and
Yeah.
stuff, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Hmm.
I don't know, I just feel like the audacity.
Yeah. No, I feel like playing both sides on the field with it, honestly. But
Okay, take your
I'm
turn.
more so on Ben's side. I hate to say it, but it's just because like for me, because it's like for me, the trust thing is a big thing too.
Mm,
But I do question like the severity of what it
it's
was
not
that
that intense.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like for me, that's where it's just like, okay, Morgan, like chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
But just in a general scope of like talking to other people. And again, because my trust starts at 0 for everybody.
Mm.
So goddamn Ben, I don't trust you. I sure as hell don't trust Justin or Alexis or
Right, right.
anybody else. So it's just like, but again, I get it with you need to speak to someone who can understand the experience you're going through. So I don't blame him for talking to someone about it,
Yeah.
but maybe he should have went and talked to one of the like Pastor Cal or somebody instead. Like, go ahead and go talk
True.
to Tall Tree Man who gonna tell it to the town, you know.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I
but
just
they didn't have a chance anyways. But I found it quite interesting how you watched the reunion and everything, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so like they cool now, like they Gucci, like they ain't a problem on the table,
Yeah.
and it's just quite interesting how things went like that. But I think also too Morgan needed to see herself after the situation
Mhm.
and how she needed just a little check of reality for a second there. So I
Yeah,
think that helped
definitely.
to like tone her ass down.
I think
But
so too, because the poor Ben,
yeah,
like you said, he just was so I don't just like shocked, I guess is like the kind of best word to put it. Like he was not
mm-hmm.
sticking up for himself. Like he,
No,
clearly already has like his own like personal issues and stuff like that. And the last thing he needed
mm-hmm.
was like be rated by someone who like he was like intending to fall in love with and like, like more
Right,
married. So it's like this poor
yeah,
man, like he was very much of like a yes man.
so
And
much, yeah.
just I don't know. I just was like, God damn it, Ben, like stick up for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like what is wrong with
Please,
you? Like say
please.
something. Don't just say
But
like,
he looks
okay, I understand. I
he looks very
understand.
happy now. Every time, yeah, I was wrong. It was my fault.
Yeah,
And it was just
like
like,
no,
all right, you're
bro.
gonna need to drop the
No.
goddamn victim card because I have to hear you say it's my fault one more time. The girl got some goddamn blame in this bin. Like,
I know.
oh my
I know. You just want to like
gosh.
rip him out of that TV and shake him.
Yes, yes. But looking at his social media now, he looks like he's having a good time in his life. He looks
Well,
happy
good.
where he's at. He's grown his hair out a little bit. He got a little curl on top. I said, okay, Ben, you getting all stylish.
Oh
So,
man.
he looks like he's in a good place. Morgan's smart. Her page is private, so as it
I'm
should be.
sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
She as tough as she comes off, she's a softie on the inside, so I know that stuff would really eat her up with having to look at all the comments. And then I
Yeah.
mean, for most people,
Right, right,
being attacked by the world, would eat up most people. So I'm not
yeah.
saying it's just her, but I
Right.
don't blame her for having her page private. I would too.
Yeah, no,
Shit.
it's always the ones that are a little sus on the show. So,
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
saying.
Speaking of sus,
Mm.
Justin and Alexis.
Oh man.
So
I just go ahead.
I like wanted to like them, but I couldn't.
Yeah. I couldn't from the minute that man came into camera.
When they were at the wedding reception and he threw it back on the floor.
Oh my
I don't know
god.
if
Yes, that was a
I
very
was
iconic
like
moment.
okay. This is how you start off it. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
he did that
um
in front of
yeah,
strangers.
yeah, literally nothing but
Uh,
he and her, I didn't foresee them to last from the
no.
beginning, so that was just an automatic.
Yeah.
Honestly didn't believe that she was actually attracted to him, but
I don't think so
i
either.
I think she was, though.
Do you?
I think she was, and I'm going to be skipping a lot of beats if I say this,
No,
if you don't
no,
mind.
whatever.
Um, so he actually has an extra X chromosome.
Oh, yes. Yes, he does.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I don't know if you know where I'm going with this,
I
but
think so.
he has an extra X chromosome. And spoiler alert for those of you who haven't finished,
Should have said
they
that
are
about
not
20 minutes ago.
oops. They are not together, and Alexis is actually a gay married woman now.
Wait, I didn't see that part.
Oh, spoiler alert. Yeah. So I'm gonna
Wait,
repeat that. I'm
what?
gonna run that back real quick. So
Huh.
Alexis is married to a woman. Married.
I guess that makes sense since she turned down 3 proposals.
She turned down 3 proposals, and
Hmm.
I find it interesting because on the show it seemed like Justin wasn't masculine enough for her,
Yeah, not at all.
but she's married to a woman, so I felt confused because
Hmm.
um in general,
Are
like
they
if we're gonna go
butch?
like she's not a feminine looking girl, but I don't find her to look very butch either. I
Mm,
feel like she's a little a little more tomboyish than Alexis. But Alexis isn't even like girly. She dresses really nice.
yeah.
She plays more of a girly role now from what I've seen on her social media.
Mm.
But like when they started off the season of Married at First Sight, she was playing football with her friends.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know, I just found it interesting, but I was just like, oh, she just truly didn't like him. But
Hmm.
and I just thought the main thing was that he wasn't masculine enough, but um I don't really think.
I don't know, unless he really turned her out, because when we said in the beginning of this episode that this is a season of people trying, let me tell you, I feel like Alexa was like the cover of Try.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, she was trying, but I don't know, I couldn't vibe with her. Like I couldn't vibe with either of them because they just didn't know how to meet in the middle. Like they didn't understand fucking compromise for anything. And
no,
it's
not
just
at
like
all.
he's mad because she's going to the club every weekend.
Hmm.
Why are you going to the club every weekend for one as a
Because she
married
doesn't want to
person?
be
Like,
around him. That's why.
but that's my thing. Is just like, but like he had a point. He was like, go bowling or something. Like, goddamn, do something different with your friends. You don't got to go to the goddamn club. She was going to the club to find her wife. That's what she
Exactly.
was doing. I'm fully convinced. But it was like
Exactly.
we're over here like, yeah, why do you need to go to the club every weekend? Like, there ain't nothing wrong with hanging out with your friends every week. Like, yeah, I wish I could hang out with my friends every week,
I mean, it could be a little
and
excessive.
that'd be great. But at the same time, though, like every week you going to the club, like you ain't gonna mix it up.
Yeah, I
No,
don't
you gonna go to brunch. Oh, we
like, how
invited
old are
you.
we?
You know that man don't want to hang out with y'all. He gonna be hovering over y'all.
Right.
Like everybody in the club just gonna be looking at him. He probably don't care to do social things like that. I sure wouldn't if I was that tall.
Yeah, no. And I don't know. I feel like she was just always making excuses, and she
Mm-hmm.
really just like played the whole dog thing like throughout the
Oh, that
whole,
part.
yeah.
They both were idiots for that. I don't care what anybody says.
No, yeah, I agree.
Complete idiots. Like your dogs don't know each other. Justin definitely was fucked up for not even saying anything about previous instances with his dog for one.
Right,
Like
right.
that you
You
kind of got
should,
to mention
yeah.
that, my boy. Like regardless of what you think may happen,
Hmm.
you and your dog don't think the same damn way. Like I don't care how connected you are.
Right.
And it's like, why would you let your dog, and on top of it, knowing that she got this little foo-foo ass dog, and
Yeah.
you just gonna let your little dog be in this, like, y'all don't care about your dogs. You really don't. And then he gave the dog away. My heart was over here bleeding because for y'all who know me, I had my dog like for 13 years. I was
Mhm.
my baby. And there is no way in hell anybody that I've ever dated, this is Chewy, get to know him. He ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? And it's just like he's like he would. That's how I knew him and Alexis had sex because he was pussy whipped because he just went ahead and just gave his dog to a farm. He was like, all
I
right.
think that's the reason. Oh man. I mean, I don't know. I didn't think of that, but I don't know. I just think he would have done that regardless because that's just his personality, I think.
Unfortunately so, but yeah, he was an interesting character. Like
He was
so
exhausting.
emotional, which is fine for a man to be emotional, but he just was doing too much. But maybe I don't know if that's like a having an extra chromosome thing that causes him to be more emotional than he needs to be,
Yeah, I think so because I think that means that he
right?
automatically produces more estrogen, and I think that that is definitely
Yeah.
biological with us. So,
What? Yeah,
so I
so
definitely think
unfortunately,
so.
yeah, he was dealt an extra card in that. But
Yeah, and now
um
that we know that, but he should have used that as his story or something. I don't know, unless maybe he recently was just diagnosed.
right, I don't know. I have no idea the
Um,
timeline on that part,
I don't
but
know. He was just
yeah.
annoying. Like he talked himself into getting a divorce. Like how your girl say, "Yes, I want to stay married to you and keep working on this." And then in less than 24 hours you convince her to say, "I want a divorce." I'm like, if you would just stop
Yeah.
talking, like they would have broke
They
up
were a hot
eventually, but like
mess.
what the hell?
They were a hot mess. Alexis was
Yeah.
definitely helpful to the producers though, because she was definitely doing her job and asking those poking and probing questions, that none of the other couples may not have wanted to answer. I felt more so with like Kristen and Mitch. She was more doing that. But yeah, it was just like, ooh, girl, you helping these producers out and giving them the tea that they need to keep their ratings going,
Right.
but still wasn't enough to be like a super fantastic season. But yeah, I wanted to like them, but when they got into the Ben and Morgan gossip, that also was just like another like thumbs down for me with them, and it's just I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely do think that Alexis contributed to Morgan and Ben's downfall because, like,
Mm-hmm.
that's your place, girl. Like, we
Right,
barely know this
right,
lady.
right, and
Morgan
she
and
even
Morgan.
said it. Yeah, but I would definitely say, just kind of summing up that couple, I liked in the reunion how both of their siblings were on the stage and how they really were not one-sided about anything when they talked about the two of them. Because Alexis's sister was very like
Sorry, you just
one-sided-ish
jogged my memory.
seeming. Okay, okay. Her sister was going hard. She's like, that's my baby sister, so I was concerned about how that may affect things. But seeing how both his brother and her sister responded to the questions at the reunion, it made me happy and it held both of them, Alexis and Justin, accountable for their actions.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
Would you remember?
Yes. Well, before I say what I remember, do you have anything else to say about either one of those couples?
My ass done took notes.
Oh God.
But nope, that hit everything I had to say.
Okay, because when you were just talking about that, I was like, oh my God, how could I possibly forget about this, right? I was like, just whoa. I found this to be so entertaining. And that is just talking about Justin
Oh my
and
gosh.
his beginning intro of the reunion in general. Like,
Oh my gosh.
how
How did I
everything just like
forget?
went down. But you know what? What I think that we're gonna do
Save
is
it for the next.
yes.
Save it for the
I
next.
think that if you guys haven't watched, that you guys should watch. And if you haven't, you guys are gonna have to wait for our Married at First Sight Part 2 episode to go into detail about this explosive reunion between Justin and pretty much everybody.
God damn, that's a fact. Wow. How dare I forget, y'all? I can't wait. Let me just go ahead and just say we wrapping up this episode right now. Can't wait to drop the next one for you. This one just dropped, and I can't wait to drop the next one.
Yes.
So y'all better hurry up and go on and catch on up if you haven't, because part 2 is even more entertaining.
Definitely is.
Well, that's gonna be it for today, and until next time.
Bye, guys.